Chapter 6. What will people say? They don't announce themselves. They never do. They arrive softly, like a draft through an open window, barely noticeable at first. A pause where there used to be laughter. A look exchanged across the room. A question asked with a smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. No one says anything outright, yet everything changes. It starts with curiosity, or at least that's what they call it. Sunna hai. Someone murmurs at the corner of a gathering, lowering their voice even though everyone leans in closer. Information travels faster when it's wrapped in half-truths. By the time it reaches the next house, it no longer resembles the original story. It has been reshaped, sharpened, given an edge. At home, the atmosphere shifts before anyone acknowledges it. The television volume is turned down during conversations. Phones are checked more often, as if answers might appear on their screens. Her mother sighs too much these days, carrying the weight of unspoken worries in the slump of her shoulders. Her father grows quieter, his silence heavier than anger ever was. No one asks her directly. They don't need to. The damage is already being done elsewhere. Outside, the neighborhood feels smaller. The same streets she has walked all her life now seem lined with invisible eyes. Neighbors who once waved openly now nod with caution. Aunties lean over balconies under the pretense of watering plants, their attention fixed below. At the corner shop, the shopkeeper hesitates before greeting her, his tone polite but distant, as though he's unsure which version of her he's supposed to believe. It is exhausting, being watched without being seen. The whispers grow bolder with time. What begins as curiosity turns into judgment, and judgment soon demands a verdict. Society does not like unanswered questions. It prefers neat conclusions, even if they are cruel. Especially if they are cruel. This is what happens when you give girls too much freedom. Kids these days. Back in our time. Every sentence begins with morality and ends with condemnation. What hurts most is not the strangers. It never is. It's the familiar voices that begin to change. Relatives who once boasted about her now speak cautiously, as if her name itself has become risky. Invitations stop arriving. Phone calls become shorter. Advice is offered where support should have been, always framed as concern, always poisoned with expectation. Just think about what people will say. The phrase moves freely from mouth to mouth, unquestioned, unchallenged. It carries the authority of tradition, of generations that survived by obeying it. It is used to justify fear, to silence discomfort, to keep people in line. It sounds harmless. It never is. At night, the house feels heavier. Walls seem to listen. Every footstep echoes too loudly. She lies awake, replaying conversations she was never a part of, imagining expressions she didn't witness but somehow knows exist. Her phone lights up with messages, some supportive, some invasive, some pretending to be both. Even silence becomes suspicious. If someone doesn't speak up for her, does that mean they believe the whispers? Slowly, the question changes. It is no longer what are they saying? It becomes are they right? That is how society wins. It doesn't break you with confrontation. It wears you down with repetition. with sideways glances and loaded pauses, with rules that were never written but always enforced. It convinces you that peace lies in obedience, that dignity is something granted by others, that survival requires shrinking yourself until you fit inside acceptable limits. She begins to measure her actions, her clothes, her laughter, her silence. Every choice is weighed against an invisible jury. Freedom becomes something she negotiates with guilt. Even joy feels rebellious now. And yet, beneath the noise, something resists. A quiet defiance stirs, fragile but present. A refusal to believe that her entire existence can be reduced to gossip. That her worth can be debated over cups of tea. That her life must pause because others are uncomfortable with it moving forward. Society's whispers continue. They always will. But for the first time, she wonders, softly, dangerously. What if they don't get to decide?